Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at GCNlive.com.
This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Everyone all set? Cocked? Locked? Blissed? Your dial set correctly to USAPrepares.com. We're delighted you're here. And if you'd like to call and talk with Dr. Norm Shealy, you may. We'll pay for the call. 866-582-9933. 866-582-9933. 9933. There's a link to all of your instructors on the website, usaprepares.com, usaprepares.com. And John is engineering the broadcast in Minnesota. Welcome, Dr. Shealy.
Good morning, Vincent, and Sergey is with me.
Hello,
Oh, that's great.
How are you?
Very good to hear your voice, Dr. Sergey Sorin, medical doctor. It's great to have, wow, I think this is the only broadcast in the country with two medical doctors on staff simultaneously.
And, you know, Vince, yesterday we had, really for the first time, new patients and a return patient, and we were, you know, really working in tandem together. It was fabulous, I think. The patients, got two opinions for the price of one, and it was just so beautifully coordinated.
Yeah, the interesting thing is we actually happen to agree on many things.
Now, and well, that is interesting because your training was separate from each other, correct?
It not only separate, 40 years difference.
Well, okay, so here's the next question for Dr. Sorin. Dr. Sorin, do you find that you agree with many of your peers who maybe you've seen over the years, who studied with you, did an internship with you, and residency with you?
Well, this is the thing, and interesting aspect of what I'm about to say is that not much has changed, in a way, over the last 50 or 60 years, from what I understand in talking to Dr. Shealy. It's same issues, same dilemmas, same problem with a general approach. Mm-hmm. And just like Dr. Shealy, just like Norm, I always been out of the box. I remember when I was even in residency, I was always speaking discussions for the presentations for research having to do with mind, body, and spirit, and very frequently my topics were strange, and I was strange, and that apparently has not changed from the time that Norm has been doing things.
Does that lead to arguments in the emergency room with other doctors?
Absolutely. The emergency room, and I still work in the emergency room, by the way, so it's difficult to go from one setting to the other because, of course, the needs and the patients and the expectations are very different. And I'll do different things here in the clinic as I do in the emergency room. But people come expecting narcotics. They come, there are addicts. There are people who basically just want a pill, and that's all there is to it. And many of the modalities, many of the things that we do are absolutely horrendous. It's terrible. And we still do them because we don't have any other options. Now, the answer is, yes, we do. But to get the system to approve of this and to get the system to understand is not easy. Actually, Norm and I are working on several papers, to present alternatives and options to those who are interested in hearing, of course, and we'll have it published in a peer-reviewed journal on both the pain, the depression, and other options, of course, chronic illness, so that people have options, just like we do. And hopefully they'll take this up, because ultimately you can lead the horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
And yet, I want to mention one of the patients that we saw yesterday. The young woman who had a significant head injury 2 years ago. And she has seen not only in the emergency room at the time, but has been seen by at least a couple of physicians since then complaining of right eye pain and frontal right head pain. Now, interestingly, all I needed to do, a neurologic exam was okay. All I needed to do was just a normal, average physical exam of her neck. And I could feel that the vertebra was slightly out of place at the second cervical, spot, neck vertebra. They never took an x-ray at the time of her head injury. Now, one of the principles of conventional medicine, since I was in medical school 60 years ago, is when somebody has a head injury of significance, if it's enough to go to the emergency room, you take an x-ray not only of the skull, but an x-ray of the neck, because often when you hit in the head, it damages the neck. It turns out this young lady has ligamentous damage to at least 4 of the vertebrae in her neck that has been totally ignored by the convention for over 2 years.
Well, there's a little something about the physical exam, or which used to be actually the main component or the major component of evaluating a patient, that is actually disappearing from the training and from the importance in many physicians. And I must say myself, when things get busy, there's a tendency to ignore the basics and to move on to the X-rays and to CAT scans and to X-ray of certain things are essential, like, for example, neck that goes with the head. But what I'm trying to say is we have gotten away from the basics so much that instead of doing a very essential of what I would consider a proper evaluation, history, physical, taking the time to listen to someone, and often there is no time given today's healthcare system. There's also no time or no interest in doing a proper physical. Very frequently I see quite a few colleagues that I've caught myself on a couple of occasions tempted to rush through the physical. And that's just not the best way to do things.
And the other thing that is of interest, of course, is that although these individuals yesterday got our joint opinions, instead of, and I always leave open 1 hour when I see a new patient. It took us an hour and a half when each of us, with both of us, working with them to, do a fairly complete initial overview.
Doctors Soren and Shealy, I remember having a physical examination when I was younger, and the doctor tapped my knees, my elbows, with this little triangular rubber-headed hammer, and just lightly to check my reflexes. Used a stick to look down my throat, looked in my ears, my eyes, up my nose. I don't remember that happening in the last 10 years. Not once. Not once. Not for any member of our family for a routine medical visit. Is that something that, we just don't need to do anymore?
Well, I don't. I feel that, except in an emergency room, that's a totally different thing. When you see a patient in your office, if you do not spend an hour with them, going carefully over the history and the physical exam, and then discussing what to do, there's no way you can do an adequate job. I want to read you an email that I just got this morning, because I wrote about the problem of the blank federal government now requiring that physicians ask about depression and evaluate people for depression, and then they're going to put them on the worst drugs in the world, practically, almost as bad as chemotherapy, antidepressant drug. I want to read you a note that just came. I agree. She's talking about my e-news today. Lexapro really messed me up when I got off of it. 150 pounds that I had gained from it fell off within 2 months. As a certified psychiatric nurse, I saw more crazies on staff than I did in the patient rooms. And everyone on the staff as well was encouraged to take an SSRI. That's an antidepressant drug. I had a supervisor who told me if I didn't get on one, she'd have me fired. I mean, the system is beyond crazy.
Absolutely. Actually, going back to a little bit the point that you were making, the essentials of the proper evaluation are still there. You still need that to do a great job, or to do a good job. But the way that this is, and Norm has a book that's actually very valuable. We're putting a chapter in another book coming up regarding a similar topic, and I believe the book is called Third-Party Rape. And the issue is that it used to be that the physicians, not just physicians, healthcare providers were able to spend time to give attention and devotion to the patient that was due. Now, you're limited to 15 minutes. Now, 10 of which are going to be taken up by paperwork and electronic medical records. So literally, you've got 5 minutes with a patient. How much can you do in 5 minutes?
Well, and of that 5 minutes, Dr. Soren, when we, let me just preface this. When someone has a doctor's visit in our family, let's say it's my wife. If it's my wife for her routine exam or appointment, one of our boys and I will go with her. So there'll be 3 of us there in the exam room. If it's my mom, it'll be my wife and me, or my wife, me, and one of our children. And the reason for that is so that we all hear firsthand what the medical opinion and the medical advice is and what we need to do, so that when we get home, we can take care of whatever it is, and we all heard it at the same time, and we're all there to support that family member. And when we come back, I'd like to share with you what my mother's doctor said to her, and in our presence. Absolutely shocking when you think about it. We'll be right back. Dr. Norm Shealy, Dr. Sergey Soren, medical doctors. We'll be right back. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from IronEdison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of IronEdison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our IronEdison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at IronEdison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
Are you still looking for that one iodine that you can really trust? A medical doctor-endorsed product that is backed by honest research and true integrative science? Then search no further. Go to NutriMedical.com for Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutriodine, proven time and time again to be the very best iodine available for you. Nutriodine is the only Tesla-activated monatomic plasma iodine in the world. It optimizes mitochondrial function and generation of new mitochondria, from totally neutralizing the venom from a desert recluse spider bite in Southern California to eliminating malaria parasites reported by medical missionaries in Central India. Dr. Bill's Nutriodine is simply the most powerful healing formula there is. Nutriodine clears the body of all known pathogens, restores it to an alkaline state, and even promotes stem cell regeneration. Order Dr. Bill's Nutriodine today at 888-212 612-8871 or visit us online at NutriMedical.com.
Are you worried about how dangerous the world's become? In these days of terrorist attacks, natural disasters, or even a future collapse, you need to be medically prepared to keep your family safe. I'm Joe Alton, MD of store.doomandbloom.net, where you'll find an entire line of uniquely designed medical kits and supplies for when help is not on the way. For everything from individual first aid kits to the ultimate family medical bag, go to store.doomandbloom.net today. That's store.doomandbloom.net. You'll be glad you did.
This is a healthcare alert from the Pain Relief Hotline. If you, a family member, or a loved one suffers from knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain and have Medicare as your primary insurance, we've got great news. You don't have to suffer any longer. You can immediately qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you by calling our 24/7 Pain Relief Hotline at 866-389-0620. Delivery is free and all paperwork is handled for you. If you are on Medicare and have knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain, don't wait. You can qualify to immediately receive a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost by calling our 24/7 Pain Hotline now at 866-389-0620. Our representatives are standing by 24/7 to take your call and rush you your pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you. Shipping is free and all paperwork is handled for you. Just call 866-389-0620. That's 866-389-0620. Again, 866-389-0620.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to goberkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. goberkey.com.
So my mom lives with us and at the farm. And when my dad was alive, up until a few years ago, he lived with us at the farm. And they have their own end of the house where they have their own bathroom and sitting room and bedroom. And then the rest of the house they share with Mrs. Finelli and me and our son. Well, we do pretty much everything together. We eat as a family, we work as a family, we go shopping as a family, and all those things the old 1950s style family would do. So for about 10 years or so, my father, my mother, our children, and I all have the same doctor at St. John's in Springfield, Missouri. And so this doctor, and he's a great guy. He has seen our behavior. He's seen how we dress. He sees that when we go to a doctor's appointment, we're all there. And he doesn't see anybody looking at their smartphone, totally distracted. He doesn't see that. He doesn't see smartphones. He sees us paying attention to all details of this 7-minute or 10-minute doctor's appointment visit. Well, the last time I was there, my mom was on the exam table, and she was sitting up, and he said to her, "So are they treating you okay? Are you getting good meals? Is there anything that you want to tell me about, what might be happening at your home?" Basically, the intent was, are you being mistreated? Well, seriously. And I looked at him and I let my mom answer. No, they're treating me just fine. And I said to him, the only way that she could be better treated is if we had servants. And then I said, but no, actually, that's not true. Because I was thinking if we had servants around the house, she'd get 24/7 attention. And that's not, and I said, no, actually, that's not true. Because servants would not pay as much attention to my mom as we do, because they would be hired hands, whereas we are blood family. And Dr. Shealy, you know my mom. Is this kind of amazing? So I guess I was kind of taken aback by that question. Now, is that because some of the senior citizens in the country are being abused by their family members? Maybe their Social Security checks are being raided and squandered. I don't know, but in our case, that is, in our situation, that is not the case. We live as a family unit and we work as a family unit and we all love each other. But I was wondering, is this a question that maybe the Obama administration in its infinite wisdom is forcing doctors to waste that time asking that question?
Actually, I will, my take is that especially in the emergency room setting, now it may and it will be different in different settings, but there is certainly a place for this, at least in the ER, because I hate to say this, but human beings act anything but human quite often actually, and what we find is that there's abuse, not just domestic abuse usually from male to female, but you do see from female to male as well. Of course, it's not spoken about as much, but especially the young ones and the older ones. And you've been long enough, and I've been doing this for over 10 years, you've got that gut feeling about that something is just not right, or somebody is just not speaking out, or they just don't look as they should. In other words, the hygiene or bruising or malnutrition, and there's also behaviors that alert. In other words, that will alert to the fact that something is not right. And the elder abuse is just as bad as the child abuse. And I hate to say this because the elder in the society, in many societies, have been revered for all the right reasons. But in our society, it's not seen that way by many. Also, in the little ones, and that's what hurts. So the question is, the other question is, what do you do with that information? Because the other thing that happens is I've seen my colleagues totally, ask the right questions and then ignore when the red flags come up. So then the question is, why do you even bother asking if you're not going to do anything about it? But
interesting point. Now, in my mom's case, no bangs, no bruises, no cuts, no scrapes, no scars. She looks pretty good for over 90. And then the next question is this a routine question? It just has to be asked. It's on the list, and it's just you check it off or you get punished. We'll be right back.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today. Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-403-4885. That's 1-800-403-4885. 1-800-403-4885. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details in the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Ted Anderson telling you about Jordan Rubin's Beyond Organic Green-Fed Raw Cheddar Artesian Cheese featuring whole milk created through ancient dairy breeding, unpasteurized, untreated whole milk on the same farm the cows graze, containing natural sources of omega-3s, CLA protein, calcium, probiotics, and enzymes. I have never tasted cheese this good, and you need to try it. Contact your Youngevity distributor or call 877-878-4203 or go to gcnteam.com.
Dr. Joel Wallach here. If you're a baby boomer and you're worried about the big epidemics coming, and I'm not talking about the bird flu or the swine flu, I'm talking about epidemics of Alzheimer's disease, heart disease, obesity, diabetes, arthritis, cancer. That's because the 80 million baby boomers followed all the advice of doctors, and Houston, we have a problem.
See Dr. Wallach live in Farmington, New Mexico, Thursday, May 12th at 7 p.m. Go to www.cdocinfarmington.com. That's www.cdocinfarmington.com.
As if chlorine in our water weren't bad enough, now they're adding ammonia?
It's true. Some municipalities are now adding ammonia plus chlorine to your water supply. It's a disinfectant called chloramine. But with a trusted Big Berkey water filter, you can keep chloramine out of your water. New NSF EPA certified lab tests show EPA Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market. The gold standard in water purification. And our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
Did you know a dirty CPAP system can make you sick? If you knew what could be growing in your mask and hose, you might not sleep so well. But now, SoClean.com has released the world's first and only automated CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. It kills 99.9% of all CPAP germs, and it's completely hands-free. For a limited time, you can try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. Just call 1-800-900-0684.
SoClean changed the CPAP experience for the better. My health has improved. It's simple to use, and I'm not worried about infections.
SoClean destroys CPAP bacteria, viruses, and germs with no hassle. Never have to clean your machine by hand again. There's no water, chemicals, or disassembly. Just pop in your mask, close the lid, and presto, your CPAP system is clean and fresh in minutes. Call SoClean.com to try it risk-free at home for 30 days. This is a limited-time offer, only available by calling 1-800-900-0684. That's 1-800-900-0684.
Plus, if you'd like to get the same newsletter that I get multiple times a week, you can go to normshealy.com, 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 and you can sign up for the free newsletter, and you can buy Norm's books, and you can buy his Bliss oils and his vitamins right there at normshealy.com. Dr. Soren, we're talking about, this question that was asked of my mom. Is this the kind of question that is on the list for doctors to ask at routine medical examinations, or is this something that they may ask if they think that there's a reason to ask it?
Actually, it started out maybe as a good intention to check for things that need to be checked, such as abuse for elderly, for the young ones, spousal abuse. But it turned it has turned, I will say this, into a bit of a issue because, yes, it is indeed, to answer the question, a way to have a check mark, and if it's not checked out, at least in the emergency room setting, then yes, you get penalized. Now, some people use this properly. In other words, if there is a situation, and I have personally activated the abuse hotlines on several individuals who I think this may have saved their lives. But there are also, interestingly enough, I'll play both sides of the coin, so to speak, or I'll present both sides of the coin, is that there are situations where there is, because of certain legalities or because of certain requirements, by the government, by the state, and so on and so forth, that you end up reporting those that should not be reported. And that is highly traumatic for the patient, for the family, and for the provider, at least for this provider. And the other thing, too, is that some of the people who are involved, especially in the emergency room, social work, and otherwise, again, some have good intentions and very astute attention to detail, but others are kind of like machines, literally. They will activate and start the process on anything that moves or anything that catches their attention. And I can only imagine the emotional, physical, and otherwise and legal issues that come up for the family, for the individual. It's a mixed bag.
Mm-hmm.
There is some good, but there's also a little bit of bad. I hope that provides a little bit of a window into the situation.
Yeah. I know a person who got a call placed about that person from someone clear across the state. And so someone called 911, said, listen, I think this person is endangering himself. And so 911 shows up with handcuffs, chains for around the waist, leg irons, and hauls this guy away. 72-hour psych evaluation. All clear, everything's fine. But, imagine what the neighbors might think in a situation like that. So someone calls 911, the police show up, couple guys, big guys, and they haul this guy away in handcuffs and shackles. Just to make sure that this person doesn't hurt himself. No reason, no pills, no abuse, no reason, but they rummage through the house and they haul the person away. That kind of thing could cause a person his job. It could cause lots of discussion in the neighborhood, like, be careful, that guy's a nut. You remember when the cops came over. It seems like there may be some overzealous people that are calling 911 when they absolutely should not. So have you seen things like that where people are brought in for examination by you when there's no reason to? About 50+%, I would say. Mm-hmm. Most of these are motivated by a specific purpose. For example, there is a divorce going on, there is a custody battle, and it gets really, really absolutely petty at times, even humorous, although it's probably not funny to the person undergoing it. And nor is it for, well, let me just stop at that. But, the humor there is not of a funny type, let's put it that way. Sure. Dr. Soren, here's what I'm hearing. I am hearing that these calls are being used to build cases against someone. What I mean by that is ultimately when this divorce may go before the judge or before court, it's like, well, how about this? How about the time that you ended up in the emergency room? You know what I'm saying? Building a case, a paper trail of what looks like could be facts, but really are not. They're just the appearance of wrongdoing.
Oh, absolutely. Happens all the time. Most of the time, I would hope that the judge and the legal system will recognize that what is happening, and they will actually take it into account from the other perspective. Mm-hmm. But there are the reason the reason I'm mentioning this is that's happened to me. I've attended an event. I've mentioned this a few times on the air, but since we're talking about it, I was at an event at a convention, and the police showed up. And the police asked if I was Mr. Finelli, and I said, yeah, what's up? And they said, would you step outside? And I said, did I do something wrong? Please step outside. Did you see me do something wrong? And there's 4 cops armed, ready to shoot me. And this happened 2 different times in Springfield, Missouri. And what I found out was someone was trying to build a case against me so that when I end up in court sometime, they say, well, just look at his record. He goes to events and we have to show up in force.
4 police cars have to show up to escort Mr. Finelli off the property. And the thing is, there is no reason. It's just somebody calls, somebody places a 911 call, the police show up, they believe the caller, they don't believe me, and they escort me off the property. And my choice is really simple. Either I leave or I get arrested. And those are the 2 choices. And so what do? I go, you know what? I guess I'll leave. But let me get my money back, for paying the admission. And as soon as I get my money back, I'll leave. So that's why I asked that question. Here's something that I find very, very disturbing. In California, Governor Jerry Brown signed into, well, I guess he signed, it looks like it's a law, that if a person wants to commit suicide, that person can get a prescription from a medical doctor for an amount of drugs that is lethal. So if that person wants to hurry up his or her death, he can, in California, modeled after what happened in Oregon, similar legislation in Oregon, where it's in 1997, where you can kill yourself if you have a terminal illness. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I would not be able at any level to write such a prescription. And I honestly don't know. I wouldn't do it for myself, I wouldn't do it for my family, and I wouldn't be able to do it for anyone else. Therefore, I just don't think we're smart enough to know when to kill somebody.
I'll share a personal story. When my grandfather, and he is a fantastic person growing up in the former Soviet, went through a lot of stuff. One of the strongest people that I've come across, actually, the character and the personality reminds me actually of Dr. Norm Shealy's. So what's one of the, and I've always been attracted to, or I enjoy being around people who are of a certain character. And Norm, kudos. Thank you for being you, by the way. But I recall my grandfather having had multiple procedures, and I'm sure Norm will comment on this at some point, or I'm sure he has, as far as the issues associated with some of the procedures that my grandfather underwent for kidneys, for the heart, the cardiac bypass, medications, cholesterol, statin drugs, and other things, which I'm sure have taken. There's better alternatives, let's put it that way, that I'm aware of right now. But I've seen this one of the strongest men, one of the strongest people in my entire life, deteriorate or go down in quality of life from being calm, strong, powerful, just a beautiful person, balanced in every way, to saying and making statements that he didn't want to live anymore. And he made several statements in the emergency room, and I was careful kind of to stop the conversation because I know what happens in those settings. Now, he has passed and my grandmother as well, in about 2000 to 2001. And I certainly understand from a perspective how a person would not want to live in a way that they are, disability or pain or otherwise. But the question is, and this is what Dr. Norm Shealy and I are exploring and working with, is that it doesn't have to be that way. Just because conventional medicine has not worked for the chronic pain, for certain illnesses, it doesn't mean there is no alternatives. Frequently there are. It's just that the conventional medical system and society, and most people, are not aware that they exist. And that's one of the reasons that we do what we do, actually. Now, of course, there are cases at times when it's really futile to try to prolong life, but to actually take someone's life, I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, I know, it's one of the biggest questions that I believe facing people and medicine in general today. And again, if I had a terminal illness, if my mind is okay, I would just go into my bedroom and lock the door and turn on the Gregorian chants, but I wouldn't do anything specific. That's just my feeling.
We come back. We've got Sharon in Montana on hold. Thank you for holding, Sharon. We'll be with your question and you as soon as we come back from these commercial announcements. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now, with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
This is Dan Pillett. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Worried about lead, fluoride, and other contaminants in your drinking water? Get a ProPure with the Pro 1G 2.0 cleanable reusable filter and remove up to 200 contaminants. Drink water the way nature meant it to be. Clean, crisp, and refreshing. See the complete line of ProPure products, including the new ProMax shower filter. There's a ProPure for you. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer for details or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com or 800-544-3533.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Bad news, Americans. You're probably stockpiling for a disaster all wrong. When the big one comes, you'll need more than that poisonous, oversalted survival food you now see everywhere. There are 3 vital things that your survival food is missing, and it's the first thing to disappear from grocery stores. Go to superfoodradio.com now to see my story of how I nearly died when I was forced to live on a popular survival food. That's superfoodradio.com, and I'll show you how everything you've been told about survival food is dead wrong. Go to superfoodradio.com now.
This is it. For the first time ever on this station, U.S. government gold offered at cost for only $139 each. With Wall Street suffering its worst start to a trading year in history, now is especially the time to be paying attention to gold. This first time ever, U.S. legal tender government gold offered at cost for only $139 each is from the U.S. Money Reserve. Call them at 1-866-944-GOLD. Gold is on the move, so don't miss out. For the first time ever on this station, U.S. government gold offered at cost for only $139 each. 1-866-944-GOLD or online at usmoneyreserve.com. Ask for a free 55-page gold buyer's book. Plus, get a free Walking Liberty $50 just for reading this must-have book. Get your free gold book, your free $50, but most importantly, get your gold at cost for only $139 per coin. 1-866-944-GOLD.
Would you like to receive $250 to $1,000 cash per day?
Go to richmoneyrich.com. No website, no selling, no explaining. Just take these simple 2 steps and go to richmoneyrich.com. You can be generating cash in the next 24 hours simply using this system. Good news is, it runs on 100% autopilot, and you don't need any experience to get started. It's easy. Get your share of easy riches and go to richmoneyrich.com. That's richmoneyrich.com. Go now. Brought to you by the Conservative Investor. Current returns not indicative of future results.
Class, if you'd like to hear more of Dr. Norm Shealy and Dr. Sergey Sorin, medical doctors, there's a post on usapreparedness.com, page number 1. It will take you to a post by Dr. Shealy, and you'll find out how you can listen 3 times per week. Sharon in Montana, welcome. You're on with Dr. Sorin and Dr. Shealy.
Good morning. I had a question, kind of a twofold question on diabetes. About, I think, 7 years ago, I went to a doctor and they did the A1C test, and it was, I guess, pretty high. They called me up and said, you have type 2 diabetes, and we want to start you on this medicine. You start out half dose, and then you go on up. And I said, no, but I will come in. So I went to the library and read up all about diabetes and kind of what causes and effects of it were, and I determined I should go on a higher protein, complex carb diet and reduce radically my simple carbs. And so when I went back in and had our test, she said, oh, you don't have diabetes anymore. But my question is, if people are not willing to do the diet, is the diabetes medicine useful? Because my observation of quite a few of my friends who've been on it, they just get heavier and heavier and heavier. So that's my question.
Well, let's face it. The medications carry risks. They do have some benefit to people who are, truly in the diabetic range. And type 2 diabetes 100% of the time can be brought totally under control and go away if people will follow simple rules. Namely, give up wheat, cut out carbs and sugars, and increase exercise. And you'll be infinitely healthier doing that than taking the drugs. But it's like a smoker. I have tried to work with thousands of them, and I would say over 90% of the time, no matter how much trouble it's causing them as a disease, they're addicted. They don't want to quit. And a lot of people are addicted to food and carbs.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's very, very hard to cut them back. Very hard. But I was just curious because it seems like if you gain weight, that's worse for diabetes. And when they put them on these drugs, it seems like everybody gains like 20 plus pounds. And then they tell them to eat the wrong food, in my particular opinion. We went to this little convention thing they had right after I found out. I thought, oh, this will be good. I'll get some good information. They served lots of fruit, white bread with the colored white bread, and a little bit of deli meat, and then so-called sugar-free cookies that were made with simple carbs. And then they talked about all these wonderful pumps that they had and this great medicine we had. And I thought, they're not trying to solve your problem. They're just trying to sell drugs and devices,
Well, you're right. And I do want to congratulate you on being one of the rare people with common sense.
Well, I'm not real big on taking drugs.
Dr. Shealy, Sharon is a USA Prepares instructor, and she teaches us about canning and how to eat right. And she and her husband, Kyle, they're both instructors, and they live in Montana, right, and they are off the grid. And this, Sharon, I'm so glad you called, because this really shows who we are. We just don't. One more example of how we just don't take direction very well from when we don't think it's right, and we do our own research and we take control of our own lives. Just one great example of you doing that, and I believe that that's an inspiration for many who are listening to this broadcast classroom today, that you can take control and you don't have to get on the meds just because someone says, here's what you're going to do.
If I may, the society that we live in is actually has gotten quite passive in terms of taking care of ourselves. I think Norm has a saying that Norm, if you don't mind, of course, if let's say for most people, or some people at least, if they could take just a couple of minutes to save their own life, they would not even bother. I mean, it's just, or how does it go? But like, if it just, I'm sure you say it in a better way than that. But it's just taking personal accountability and responsibility. Saying to yourself and saying to others, perhaps, that this is my life. This is my account. This is my body. This is.
How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
Dangerous blood clot device alert. If you or a loved one had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to your heart or lungs and suffered an injury, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, and even death. These dangerous blood clot devices can break, and the metal fragments can travel to your heart or lungs, causing serious injuries. If you or a loved one suffered organ damage or other injuries from an IVC filter, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. InjuryHelpDesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal Office, Las Vegas.
Everyone all set, cocked, locked. Here we go. Hour number 2 of USAPrepares.com. Dr. Norman Shealy, medical doctor, is with us. Dr. Sergey Sorin, medical doctor, is with us. And let's see, Sharon in Montana. Did you want to continue with a question?
I just had a couple comments, and
Sure.
I just thought about it while I was on break. One thing is, I feel like people are kind of almost like victims. Oh, poor me, fix me, instead of taking charge of their life. Now, I understand addictions are really hard, and some people have made the choice not to give up whatever their favorite thing is, and then they're willing to accept the responsibilities, okay? And I respect that, too. The second thing I was going to say is Dr. Shealy has mentioned how you can use pharmaceutical-grade castor oil for cataracts. And I was going to tell you, a good friend of mine said she had cataracts. I told her about that, and she used that, and it worked. So I thought I'd just tell you firsthand that that did work.
Hey, I'm always delighted to get those kinds of things. I've got dozens of people who have cured their cataracts using castor oil. Now, I always want to give credit. It originated with Edgar Casey, who died in 1945, but he was one of the most brilliant diagnosticians in history. And I use a lot of his things. I like it in the eyes for reversing cataracts, but actually also it is one of the strongest things I know to rub it over your entire body and set in a sauna. I mean, that is the best of all. From head to toe almost, at least face to toes, on your body, and then sit in a sauna for 20 minutes. If you don't want to do that, you can rub it from the bottom of your neck down to your ankles, down to your wrist, and put on an old sweatsuit and sleep in it. And this is one of the greatest things in the world for improving immune function.
That is very interesting. I hadn't heard that. So you could wear a sweatsuit if you don't have access to a sauna?
Right. Well, you could do it in the bathtub. You could soak in a bathtub with hot water. It's a little messier, but if you've got a bottle of cheap shampoo, you just let the water out after you've soaked there for 20 minutes. You use about a cup if you're going to do it in a bathtub. And your skin attracts the oil. And just soak for 20 minutes and then let the water out and use the cheap shampoo to bathe you and the tub. Rinse off twice before you get out of the tub so you don't slip.
Okay. That sounds really interesting. That'd be something quite easy to do in your home. So.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I had. I was going to say that's all I had to say, and I'll get off the phone for you guys.
Okay, good. Thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Sharon, thanks so much for being with us.
All right. Bye.
Dr. Shealy, when using castor oil as a treatment for cataracts, would you please explain to those who might be new to the class exactly what you use, how much you use, and in the grade that you recommend?
Exactly. You must buy that you're putting into your eyes at a drugstore or pharmacy. On the bottle, it should say USP. That's United States Pharmacopoeia. That is safe. I had one woman cure a cataract in her goat, and another one cure cataracts in a dog, but most of the people are doing it in themselves and using United States Pharmacopoeia, USP castor oil, 1 drop in the eye at bedtime. Now, depending on how advanced the cataract is, it can take 3 to 6 months. But compared to surgery, hey, it's a breeze.
Mm-hmm. And is there any risk at all, Dr. Shealy, of putting this in your eye?
Not if you use the USP. Okay. Now, if you've had surgery on your eyes, I don't know why you'd want to do it if you've already had cataract surgery or if you've had surgery for glaucoma. Anytime the eyeball itself has been operated on, I would not put it in after that.
And for those who have these floaters in their eyes, let's say these little black things that look like specks that seem to float in their eyes, does this work for that as well?
No, not that I know of. And, I can't, it won't harm anything, but I do not know a safe surgical, conventional, or alternative approach for floaters in the eyes.
Okay. We've got John in Austin, Texas. John, welcome.
Yes, welcome, gentlemen. Thank you. Dr. Shealy, I have a question for you.
Okay.
I was about a year ago, diagnosed with lymphedema. And it's both my legs from about mid-calf to my feet. And they swell up, and my skin's turned purple, and, the only thing they can do for me is have me wrap them. And I asked them what caused it, and they just kind of doctor just shrugs his shoulder and walks off,
Well, it's caused by an alteration in aldosterone, one of the adrenal hormones. And the treatment of choice would be to apply water, like tap water, water bliss. It's a mixture of essential oils that you rub gently into 13 specific acupuncture points. I had one man whose legs were swollen all the way up to his groin, and it took a month, but he did totally reverse that. Now, the other thing I would recommend in this case especially is, in addition to using water bliss every day, I would coat the legs with castor oil, not drippy, but pretty moist, and very gently put a cloth on top of that and then wrap them. Because that castor oil will also help lymph flow.
Okay. And that'll help clear it up or reverse it, or?
I think it's entirely possible to clear it up. Again, depending on how bad it is, you've had it for a year, I would say, it's going to take some time, but it's worth trying because it's safe.
Yeah, and they've done the diagnostic testing where they've done the sonograms on my legs and did the ABI test where they put the cuffs on your legs to make sure that the valves are operating properly.
Right.
I don't have congestive heart failure, no heart issues causing the swelling or anything like that. And, it's really put a damper on what I can do.
Indeed, I can imagine that. It's going to take possibly some weeks, but I think it's worth trying because at least what I'm suggesting is safe.
Yeah, I mean, look, it takes some weeks. That's no big deal compared to having dealt with it for a year, already. What's a couple of weeks, right?
Right.
And, but, they were trying to tell me it could have been caused by a bug bite.
It's so hard to tell. It can come from any kind of toxic situation. It can come from occasionally from insect bites. It can come from kidney problems. It can come from heart problems. Sergey, of course, is trained in family medicine. He might have something to add to that.
Actually, no, you're doing fantastic. It's either a systems issue or, aldosterone is certainly high on the list. And speaking of aldosterone, there is something that comes to mind regarding the water bliss, of course. But Norm, please feel free to continue. No?
Now, is this something that you would have in your arsenal of products?
Actually, Dr. Norm Shealy has something called Water Bliss. Water Bliss is, what it does, I should say, is by application of essential oils to certain acupuncture points. There's a circuit that goes with those points, and it certainly activates aldosterone. And by doing that, it can help to control and bring back to balance the edema, the swelling, the water, the water aspect. And we've seen some really good results with that.
John, you can go to normshealy.com, normshealy.com, and you can purchase Water Bliss right there from the website.
And with regard to the acupressure point, is there a guide or a template or?
It comes with photographs that show you the points. Yes.
Okay. All right. Just want to make sure I'm not a good darts player, Dr. Shealy. I don't want to be sitting there, throwing the needles.
Well, I would say love those legs. Put on the Water Bliss and a little castor oil.
And the castor oil is for the wrapping, pre-wrap. Like put the castor oil on, then do my leg wraps, the compression wraps.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, that's the best information I've had, and I guess there's no side effects or anything with this stuff, and which is good. I've been trying to get off my medicine, Dr. Shealy, off my pharmaceutical medicine, and I've gotten them down to just 3 that I take.
Okay, now we're getting complicated. Tell me what the medications are.
Suboxone for pain.
I'm sorry?
Suboxone.
Did you hear that, Sergey?
If you could repeat that just one more time, please.
Yeah. So, Suboxone.
Tell you what, John, hold that thought, and you can share that information with Dr. Shealy and Dr. Soren when we come back, right after these few short commercial announcements, and they'll help you understand what's happening with those drugs, and maybe they can help you wean yourself off them as well. This is USAPrepares.com. I'm Vin Finelli. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now, with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
Is negative content or comments on the web affecting your personal or professional reputation? Unfavorable comments, embarrassing pictures, videos, legal documents, and negative articles can ruin your personal life, your career, or your business. It happens a lot, and it's just not fair. But what can you do? ReputationDefender.com can help protect your good name. Get a free consultation now. Call 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Call right now for a free expert reputation analysis. It's easy to squash the unfair attacks with our patented system, and the analysis is absolutely free. Make the best things about you jump out in searches. Protect your personal and professional reputation, your business, and your income. Get your free reputation analysis from ReputationDefender.com right now. Call 800-831-0771. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com today.
You've woke up to the deception. You understand how big government and corporations are controlling you. Guess what? The trail goes even deeper. When you want to learn the full truth, visit toolsforfreedom.com. We take you further into uncovering the conspiracy than you've ever been before. Click toolsforfreedom.com. Use coupon code RADIO to get a free DVD today. Or call 800-770-8802. That's 800-770-8802. Toolsforfreedom.com.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Blockit Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockitPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockitPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockitPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
John in Austin, Texas is asking Dr. Soren and Dr. Shealy some medical questions about some medications he's on. John, please share with those medicines and we'll get the results.
I've got them. Over the break, we learned what they are.
Okay.
Basically, Suboxone is a narcotic. Yeah. And it would be, it's useful for pain. Sometimes short term, long term, I don't think it's the great thing in the world. It almost never keeps the pain under control long term and has all the itching things.
Well, I was lucky in that I was with a pain management doctor who had me on hydrocodone and morphine.
Right.
For an extended period of time to the point that it ruined my teeth.
Right.
the use of Suboxone to get me off the hydrocodone and morphine, and I've been off of that for a couple of years now.
Right. How much do you take of the Suboxone?
I take two strips a day,
right.
One in the morning, in the evening, and it's not that effective.
Right.
But I'm not going to stay on it. I'm getting off of it. I don't like it.
Yeah. Well, it's not as bad, in my opinion, as the lorazepam. Lorazepam is great for anxiety, but it inevitably creates depression. Paxil sucks. It's one of the worst drugs in the world for depression. It doesn't really ever cure depression. So, to me, both of those drugs are even worse in the long run than the Suboxone. The problem is there's no way that I can help you get off those, at home. It's a really complex. It could take a month or 6 weeks to wean you safely from those two drugs, and there are wonderful alternatives. But in this situation, you really need somebody who's looking at it from a comprehensive alternative point of view that includes a Fisher-Wallace cranial electrical stimulator, sound therapy, retraining the nervous system, a whole bunch of things. So,
well, part of it, Dr. Shealy, was treatment for PTSD, and I will have to admit that the Paxil and the lorazepam did well in helping control and my panic attacks and anxiety attacks. They did do the job on that. And then I've been doing EMDR therapy for the PTSD.
Right. Now, for PTSD, the number one treatment of choice is Air Bliss. But for something as serious as yours, you need a Fisher-Wallace, Fisatr-Wallace, W-A-L-L-A-C-E, cranial stimulator. It would be the treatment of choice to help you get through all that.
Okay. I'm making some notes here while you're talking. So.
And also, you can re-listen to this broadcast. It'll be on GCN. It'll be on Republic Broadcasting tonight, and it will be on YouTube within an hour and a half after the broadcast on the Ron Gibson channel on YouTube. So, for those who want to re-listen.
But I mean, the PTSD. The more we can get out there with alternative therapies, especially with the veterans.
Yep, I agree.
Mine was caused by violent incidents from our brothers of peace and love.
You're talking about the police?
No, I was the subject of a bomb threat. I used to investigate medical doctors, excuse me, gentlemen, but I did, and for Medicaid fraud, and I was working a series of overseas doctors. I'll let it go at that. How does that go?
Okay. John, thanks so much for being with us today.
All right, John.
Jack in Missouri, you'll be up next right after these few short commercial announcements, and then we'll talk about wireless electric charging. Microwaves, more microwaves through the air when we get back.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to GoBerkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
As if chlorine in our water weren't bad enough, now they're adding ammonia?
It's true. Some municipalities are now adding ammonia plus chlorine to your water supply. It's a disinfectant called chloramine. But with a trusted Big Berkey water filter, you can keep chloramine out of your water. New NSF EPA certified lab tests show EPA Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market. The gold standard in water purification. And our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
Mother's Day is next week, and Pro Flowers is offering an amazing special. 100 stunning blooms for mom, plus a free glass vase for $19.99. Go to proflowers.com. Click on the blue microphone in the upper right corner and enter the secret code 3434. But hurry, this incredible deal expires this Friday. With fresh flowers, guaranteed delivery, and add-ons to complete your gift, Pro Flowers has everything you need to be a gifting expert on Mother's Day. Order now from Pro Flowers to get huge savings. You pick the delivery date, and it's guaranteed. 100 colorful blooms sent fresh from the fields and guaranteed to stay fresh and beautiful for at least 7 days for $19.99 and will include a free glass vase. Hurry, Mother's Day is next week and this incredible special expires this Friday. The only way to get this amazing deal is to go to proflowers.com. Click on the blue microphone in the upper right corner and enter the secret code 3434. That's proflowers.com, secret code 3434.
Shipping charges not included. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back.
My computer is so slow, it's making me crazy.
I used to have that problem.
Did you quit using a computer, or did you buy a new one?
No, I called Geeks On Site. They made an appointment to visit my home and showed up the same day.
You mean they didn't ask you to bring your computer to a shop? That's what happened when I called a support company.
Geeks On Site can go to your home or business or even repair your computer online. They have 24/7 emergency service.
If you are having problems with your PC or Mac, call Geeks On Site, 1-800-591-1682. Our friendly certified computer repair experts are available 24/7. Call now for a free diagnosis, 1-800-591-1682. Data recovery, virus removal, and maintenance for all laptops, desktops, printers, and networks. That's Geeks On Site for friendly certified computer repair experts, available 24/7 over the phone or in your home or business. Just call 1-800-591-1682. That's 1-800-591-1682, 1-800-591-1682.
My name is Don Wiskin. In 1994, I lost my 62-year-old father to complications of bypass surgery. In 1977, my 44-year-old brother was found dead in his apartment. He suffered a heart attack. In January of 98, my mother had a stroke and passed away in her bed. 21 days later, my 53-year-old brother passed away on his arrival to the hospital. He waited too long. In June that same year, I almost joined them at 42. What did I do? I took a 7-herb formula I now call Extendivite, made from garlic, cayenne, bilberry, ginkgo biloba, hawthorn, milk thistle, and valerian. Based on German studies of natural medicine, Extendivite is designed to clear blocked arteries, clean the toxins from your blood, and improve your immune system. To get your Extendivite, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822, or visit our website, heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
That's Dr. Norm Shealy's with us, medical doctor. Dr. Sergey Soren's with us, medical doctor. And Jack in Missouri, you're on the air. Welcome.
Good morning, Vincent. Dr. Shealy, I called in about 3 months ago. I'm a disabled veteran from Vietnam era, and I have bursitis in my right hip. And you told me a drug that I could get injected with, and would probably take care of it. And of course, I go through the VA for everything. I did tell my ortho guy about this, and he couldn't find it. I must have wrote it down wrong. Could you tell me that again, please?
You bet. It's one of my favorites for a long time. Sarapin, S-A-R-A-P-I-N.
S-A-R?
S-A-R, yes, A-P-I-N.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to see him today.
And it's been around. It's made by the H-I-G-A chemical company in Philadelphia, and it's been around at least 80 years.
Okay. Vincent, just for your information, I've recently purchased 20 acres that I'm going to go completely. I'm going to have solar, wind, and syngas energy, and I'm building my own log cabin. I'm going to film it, and I'll try to get it to you when it's finished.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm so glad you mentioned that, and let me tell you why. I've been on conference calls with Ed, our IT professional in Florida, usersite.com, usersight.com, Joey in Michigan, Miles in Europe, and we have been working feverishly, especially the other three, to build a village. And this village will have categories, and I'm looking at the prototype right now. Actually, it's built. The page is not listed, but we are going to have special information on energy, finance, food, manuals, field manuals on how you can do pretty much many things that you want to do with military surplus equipment, medical information, with information from Dr. Shealy and hopefully from Dr. Shealy and Dr. Soren if they choose to participate. They're hearing this for the first time. Protection equipment, plans to build things, batteries, how to make rechargeable batteries, how to do some of the things that you're talking about in a do-it-yourself way. So I'm inviting you, Jack in Missouri, to contact me after the broadcast or off the air, and let's get you involved as an instructor since you're doing this. So class, here's another thing that we need. We need an instructor to help us with communications networking. Should there be a major outage, and we'll need to use ham gear, ham communications equipment to contact and communicate one to another. The high frequency equipment that's commercially available, and you can get it used right now for less than $500, and we'd like to teach you how to build your antennas. So if you're an instructor and you want to be an instructor and you've got some skills that you think that we need to know about, like welding, metal fabrication, 3D printing, we'd love to chat with you and have you become part of this expansion of USA Prepares.
Vincent, I go to a group with two veterans that are really into the ham radio. I could possibly get them to contact you.
Yeah, and my phone number, probably the best way to call me is 417-462-1105, 417-462-1105. That's my number here at the farm. So if you'd, I appreciate it. Jack, thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Dr. Shealy and Dr. Soren, there's a technology that I am very, very concerned about. And I'll even name the company. It's a new startup. The company's name is Energous, E-N-E-R-G-O-U-S. There's a post on the internet, and I'll post it on the website, USA Prepares. It's Yahoo Finance. And they say Energous charges up for more wireless licensing deals. Here's what this company does. They're using microwave frequencies, and they have a design that will remotely charge your cell phone. So, for example, there is a directed antenna that you aim it at where you're going to be. Like if you've got your cell phone, you're sitting at your desk. Across the room, you can have this transmitter, which will transmit microwave energy enough to charge your cell phone remotely. Now, of course, if your cell phone is next to you, you are being blasted with a directed antenna with a lot of power, enough to charge your cell phone or
And
your...
Yes. Oh, all right. I agree with you, Vincent.
Well, let me tell you the rest. Let me tell you the rest of the story. So we came out against these guys, and we said this is dangerous technology, because I can see some of the rollouts. So let's say you're in your office and you have an iPad or something, one of these little pads, and it's remotely charged. It's way too complicated to plug in this little cord to charge it directly from a wall outlet or a USB port. No, that's way too complicated. All you have to do is hook up this transmitter and this receiver on the back, and it will track you and follow you, and you can be in the path of this, and you can be cooking yourself as well as charging your electronic device. Well, I think that since we came out against this, maybe there are others who are concerned about this technology as well. Imagine being in a classroom. So you're in this classroom and there's a whole bunch of devices, and now everybody in the path of this charging device is being cooked in the classroom, because you have technology directors in schools that really don't understand what in the heck they're doing. Now we've got these, in my mind, I see these in the office, I see these in government buildings, I see them at fast food restaurants, so you can bring your device in, sit there, have a cup of coffee, a fast burger, and get charged right there. Well, it looks like there is some concern about sending this much power over the air. So Energis Corporation, which makes this device called Watt Up, W-A-T-T, as in the unit of energy, watt, and then the word UP is in the direction up, Watt Up. Now they're saying, well, that's a lot of energy, a lot of power going through the air. So let's look and refocus this at another market in addition, and that would be devices like watches, these smart watches, these smart wearable health meters that you have on your wrist to tell you about your... Right. Well, and now it gets even worse. Hearing aids. So let's aim these charging antennas and microwaves at your head, right at the hearing aid. Dr. Shealy, Dr. Soren, are you concerned about microwave technologies being deployed as a wireless charging device for hearing aids, smartwatches, cell phones, iPads, every kind of electronic device that we may bring with us?
I would be exquisitely concerned, and if you have a pacemaker, goodbye.
Well, that's the next thing. I mean, heck, why not charge that device as well?
Well, interestingly, I don't like the idea of microwave energy being blasted around the world, period. And I am unequivocally, violently opposed to it. I just looked up Watt Up and found it on the internet, and all I can say is, if you're listening, wise up and cram that stuff down the toilet if you have one already.
If I may, I'd like to... Now, my angle is a little different. Now, I'm not saying there's not a concern, but what I'd like to see, and Norm, if you would like to continue with this, because we mentioned this already at one point, let's do a research study or a project where we actually measure the brain waves and perhaps other physiological markers corresponding to the radio wave or basically a wireless technology, and see what happens, and just to see what the actual change on the brain EEG and physiological data is. Because before I make any statement personally, I would love to see that information. I did check with several friends who are world experts in EMF and microwave. It does not really have much out there in terms of scientific backing. So from my perspective, I can't really make any statements without seeing data.
Well, of course, I studied in the Ukraine for 12 days back in 1994, where they do apply this stuff, but very, very, very low energy directly to acupuncture points. Certainly don't bathe the whole body in it. Now, obviously, I don't know what frequencies of microwave they're using, but let's save it. Microwave is the same as a microwave stove, oven, cooker. and we know what that does to egg white. It turns it from liquid to solid egg white.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Dr. Shealy, they'll tell you, don't put a raw egg in a microwave oven because it will explode.
I know. Of course it will. Now, I don't have a microwave oven, and there's under no circumstance in which I would.
How about, Dr. Soren, how about the incidence of brain cancer? Are you seeing an increase in the incidence of brain cancer? I mean, it used to be brain cancer was really, really rare, and now I'm hearing more and more cases, reading more and more stories about brain cancer, and I'm also hearing that more and more people are getting more and more forgetful. And I'm wondering, since my understanding is the brain, it's really hard to regenerate brain cells. And are we cooking our brains with these 4-watt transmissions of microwave frequencies right next to our skull when we're talking on a cell phone?
I would love, absolutely, a great question, and thank you for bringing that up. I would love to see what happens, not that I would expose someone for a long-term basis to a cell phone next to their head, but I'd love to see, again, some evidence on EEG and otherwise. And again, Norm, this is something that you and I can sit and talk about in terms of designing something and putting something through. But just to see, again, the effect of what happens with a cell phone right next to the ear, as opposed to Bluetooth technology, which is microwave, as opposed to some other things. But no question about it, there is something, the radio waves...
Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
For the most amazing, calming, brain-stabilizing, blood sugar, and natural addiction-breaking formula, try CalMind. Anxiety melts, panic is gone, sleep is restful, and you'll stay calm during stress. Better than booze, mind-altering drugs, or anti-anxiety, antidepressant, toxic medications, CalMind lubricates your mind so you'll sail through the day effortlessly. Order Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutridyne at 888-212-8871 or NutriMedical.com and listen to the NutriMedical Report every weekday on the GCN Radio Network. NutriMedical, bringing nutrition and medicine together.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Mother's Day is next week, and Pro Flowers is offering an amazing special. 100 stunning blooms for mom, plus a free glass vase for $19.99. Go to proflowers.com. Click on the blue microphone in the upper right corner and enter the secret code 3434. But hurry, this incredible deal expires this Friday. With fresh flowers, guaranteed delivery, and add-ons to complete your gift, Pro Flowers has everything you need to be a gifting expert on Mother's Day. Order now from Pro Flowers to get huge savings. You pick the delivery date, and it's guaranteed. 100 colorful blooms sent fresh from the fields and guaranteed to stay fresh and beautiful for at least 7 days for $19.99 and will include a free glass vase. Hurry! Mother's Day is next week, and this incredible special expires this Friday. The only way to get this amazing deal is to go to proflowers.com. Click on the blue microphone in the upper right corner and enter the secret code 3434. That's proflowers.com. Secret code 3434.
Shipping charges not included. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back.
Are your Google search results killing you? Unflattering content in blogs, news articles, online reviews, social media, or other sources can jeopardize your reputation, your business, and your livelihood. Let Reputation.com help. Our patented technology will make the truth about you more visible while pushing down unwanted negative content. Improve your Google search results. Call Reputation.com at 1-800-831-0771 for a free consultation. That's 800-831-0771.
We all know that Berkey water purification systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey water filtration systems. The Berkey Light systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light system today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at goberkey.com. That's goberkey.com today.
Are you worried about how dangerous the world has become? In these days of terrorist attacks, natural disasters, or even a future collapse, you need to be medically prepared to keep your family safe. I'm Joe Alton, MD of store.doomandbloom.net, where you'll find an entire line of uniquely designed medical kits and supplies for when help is not on the way. For everything from individual first aid kits to the ultimate family medical bag, go to store.doomandbloom.net today. That's store.doomandbloom.net. You'll be glad you did.
Class, we're talking about microwaves, and we're talking about what I believe are very serious dangers in the use and with the use of microwave technology, especially cell phones and electric charging of wireless charging of devices. And there is a city in Germany, and the city has embedded traffic lights in the sidewalks. Traffic lights are embedded in the sidewalks because people who are using smartphones are not looking up. There is a heightened sense of distraction while on cell phones. People are walking right into traffic. They are getting run over. Men are walking into fire hydrants in the United States because they don't see them as they are looking down on their cell phones. Imagine guys walking into a fire hydrant. Okay, ladies and men are walking into traffic. We are distracted, and I think the distraction is different from the distraction that you might have if you're reading a novel or a book or some other document compared to reading a text on a smartphone or talking on a smartphone. There's a different level of distractions, and people are getting killed by using these devices. And the proof of this is that we are now looking at embedding traffic lights in the sidewalk so you don't have to look up. I wanted to share that.
Well,
and that's not
don't
fiction.
Call them dumb phones for nothing.
Yeah. David in San Francisco, we have just a few minutes left. Welcome.
Oh, honey, yeah, Vincent. Yeah, I'm glad you're raising this issue. You know, I've been hearing about this for years, about cell phones and their damages. Are you, is your guest aware of how they're damaging both birds and insects? Out here in San Francisco, we've got 3 different mountains, Mount Tam, Mount Hamilton, and Mount Diablo. And they were the original mountains that had the cell phone towers, or the cell towers that AT&T used to transfer calls all the way down to L.A. and around the rest of the nation. And when you go up on the top of those mountains where the cell antenna are, it's like a barren desert virtually, because apparently the microwaves just pretty much kill everything up there. And so I'm just wondering if you're familiar with that and what it's doing to bird life and when you put a microwave tower on top of an apartment building now, or various institutions around here putting them up, what it's doing to the wildlife around.
Well, I've heard rumors about that. I've not seen any scientific papers about it, but again, I don't like microwaves. And let me tell you the major reason why I don't like microwaves. Human DNA resonates, which means actually it is normal, at 52 to 78 billion cycles a second, which is microwaves. And so the idea of artificially broadcasting that stuff all over the place is just inherently dangerous.
Or a harmonic of it.
Yes.
Yeah, David, you bring up a very valid point. And what's happening all across the country is people are complaining about these unsightly towers. Now, so as a result, we're putting microwave transmission antennas in church steeples and devices in structures that look like cacti, cactus, different looking devices. So people will say, well, isn't that nice? Look at that tower. It doesn't look like a cell tower. That's a piece of art. But what's happening is there are cellular transmission antennae attached to these towers that don't look like towers. So the tallest structures in the area are the ones that are being used for microwave transmissions. And the farmers out here in Missouri, they are pushing each other out of the way so they can get $500 a month so they can put a microwave antenna on their farm so that Verizon or Sprint or AT&T can set up the tower and pay them $500 a month, which is absolutely nuts. And one of my friends was really upset that they didn't put one on his farm. He just died. Dr. Soren, Dr. Shealy, thank you so much for being with us. I think we can cook.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I think we can cook food quickly in a microwave oven, or we can cook it slowly with cell phones. Cook ourselves with cell phones. I'm very concerned. Class, above all, honesty and integrity. What happens next is up to you. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
How would you like to make 17% on your money in only 90 days? That's right. Gold owners made 17% in only 3 months as gold had its best quarterly gain in 30 years. Gold is on the move, and you need to get government-issued, legal tender gold coins starting at only $139 each. The U.S. Money Reserve, one of the largest gold distributors in the country, announces the first ever at-cost gold release on this station for only $139 each. 1-866-944-GOLD or online at usmoneyreserve.com. Official U.S. government-issued legal tender solid gold coins at cost for only $139 each. Call 1-866-944-GOLD. Ask for a free 55-page gold buyer's book. Plus, get a free Walking Liberty $50 just for reading this must-have book all about gold. Remember, gold is on the move, up 17%. Call 1-866-944-GOLD.